Alright, let's go to the lobby first. Let's see if we can unlock Old Bag. He's such a good dude. Yeah, I like him. He's a good egg. Right, before we go digging into Old Bag's secrets, save it there. For no reason at all. He's a big teddy bear. Yeah. What do? We should probably... Right, what she witnessed. Did she witness anything, though? I mean, do we have anything that we can try to unlock? I know we've got this autograph. I don't think we've got enough things to unlock everything. More of a teddy bear than Gumshoe. Yeah, Gumshoe's... I don't know if I would call him a teddy bear. Probably a donkey. An old workhorse donkey that's close to retirement. Still likes people, but, you know... Yeah. A little bit docile. Bumps into things occasionally, that kind of stuff. Bad eyesight. But you keep him around, you know. That's Gumshoe. Alright, let's present the Magatama. Let's give it a go. Alright, Mysterio. He's totally a teddy bear. He loves everyone and so sweet. That's true. Well, I mean, he does kind of... He wants to do the right thing, yeah, I guess. Alright, I'll be honest with you for now. Then please, tell us what you saw. But, oh, what a waste. And here I have a perfectly good chance to have a little fun at a youngun's expense. I am a little devil after all. Yeah. That doesn't imply you aren't a good person. Alright, I'll give you what you want. Here you go. That's Juan's autograph. Yes, it is. And even says to my dearest Wendy on it. That's me, right? Right? It can be. This could be you, if you have information for me. My name's Wendy Oldbag, so that's Wendy has to be me, right? Yeah, he wrote this because he wanted you to have it. It may say Wendy, but somehow I don't think Juan had this Wendy in mind when he signed it. Oh my god. Oh, please give it to me. Let me have it, please. I can't let you have it just like that. Yes, I know. Then how about an exchange? Ooh. Oh! That felt good. You must really want this autograph. My offer isn't good enough for you? Fine, Mr. Wright, you win. Wendy Oldbag, ready to open up her heart for my dearest Juan. Yes, boy. That was easy. Wow! Alright. Yeah, that was pretty good. Here's me thinking, oh god, we're gonna need all sorts to get through her, and it's like, how about an autograph? Oh my god, yes! Give it to her. Yes, best psych lock ever. That was more like a psych lock, if you know what I mean. I feel bad for you now. I'll tell you, I saw him that night. I saw him coming out of Juan's room. You're kidding. Let me guess, he was in his costume again? It was about 10 minutes before Juan's body was discovered. It was just a coincidence. I was on my way to the toilet, minding my own business, and... Did you tell that to the police? Well, of course! I thought I could get a gift certificate or two out of it, or maybe more. Did the cops do that? Gift certificates? I've been recruited again for that part of the trial. You know, the trial tomorrow. This time, you're gonna get it. I'm gonna work hard to get your client pronounced guilty. But Mr. Ongard hasn't done anything bad. I don't care about details like that. I know he did my poor Juan in. I just know it. Yeah. Valuable testimony. That yellow-bellied chicken. A yellow-bellied chicken? I wonder what that would look like. Like a chicken with a yellow belly. I trust my senses. I know when someone did something bad, and I say he did it. Oh, you mean like you trusted your senses when you thought that Powers killed the evil magistrate? What did Mr. Ongard ever do to her to deserve this? I don't think anybody does anything to her to deserve her scorn. What did he do to you to make you so? Don't you know? That guy, he framed my Juan. He created that scandal that plagued poor Juan. Mr. Nick, what is it? What's a scandal? Oh, I'll tell you about it after we get home, okay? Poor Juan, led astray by the wiles of that vile temptress. Okay, yeah, I see what it is. This is just jealousy. Mr. Nick, what do vials and wild temptress mean? Ugh. How about we just listen to what Miss Oldbag has to say for now, okay, Pearls? So, Miss Oldbag, who's this woman you're talking about? Adrian Andrews, of course, who else? That guy, he shoved the girl into Juan on purpose. His own manager, but why? I thought lawyers were smart. It was to create a scandal to make Juan lose face. That girl drove Juan into a scandal and dragged his reputation through the mud. Sounds like a pretty standard definition of a scandal to me. Why do you know about that anyway, Miss Oldbag? I'm one of Juan's biggest fans. I'm always out there gathering information. There's nothing I don't know. There's another word for that. Stalker. And do you have proof that Mr. Ongard did what you said he did? Next week's issue of a certain magazine says so. Oh, of course, a tabloid. Next week. Doesn't that mean it's something people don't know about yet? Why would Miss Oldbag have information like that? Well, because she probably sold it to them. And where did she get it? From her own mind. Anything else we could present to her now? Let's talk to her about some of this stuff. Map. Don't have anything to say about that. Okay. Yeah, we don't want to know your measurements. We've already been down this road. What about the picture of the crime scene? No. We've already asked her about herself, yeah. We did that ages ago. Yeah, I think she told us about how she was let go from the studio in a wave of redundancies. Alright, so she's climbing up on pretty much everything. What about this, though? No! Wow, okay. I thought she would get a reaction out of her with the newspaper clipping. Doesn't have anything to say to us again. And no, okay. Alright, let's go back to the hallway and talk to Lotta. We've got another. Alright, so what does she want to do? This was the big scoop, wasn't it? Another lock to do. Only two this time. Here's a pushover. Lotta, will you please answer my question? On the night of the murder, were you loitering around the victim's room? I told you, didn't I? For my scoop. But I want to know about the details of the scoop. That's not something I can tell you. I mean, there's my bread and butter. Alright then. An unpleasant tabloid photographer looking for a scoop. I'm going to say that you were looking into a scandal. Could it be that you, Lotta Hart, were looking for a break with a huge story, perhaps an unfolding scandal between one corridor and this person? Aha! This woman. She's Adrian Andrews, Matt Ongard's manager. The Nickel Samurai's manager caught secretly meeting with his rival, the Jammin' Ninja. It would be the hottest story of the season, wouldn't it? The people that give a shit. You're pretty good at this guessing thing, Mr. Lawyer, but you can't just make up any old thing and think it'll make the papers. You gotta have backup. Backup? Yeah, you gotta have that. It's news source. I think you mean news source. That's it. Show me something that shows that the one guy had something with Miss Andrews. Right? This clipping that already made the news. Whoops. This is an article from a certain weekly tabloid. Jammin' Midnight Rendezvous? The mysterious yet beautiful manager to the stars, Ms. A.A. Ah! Mr. Corridor didn't have a manager of his own. What's more, his rival, Mr. On-Guard's manager, Adrian Andrews, she has the initials AA. You saw this article and thought to take some pictures of them as proof. That's why you were lurking around Mr. Corridor's room last night. Ugh. Easy. Unlock success. You were looking into Mr. Corridor and Miss Andrews' affair, weren't you? You got it. I was gonna get myself some scoop by catching them in their secret meeting. But there's already an article about it in one of the weekly tabloid magazines. It's no longer breaking news. What you just say? Her initials are AA. That's kind of vague thing, isn't it? That ain't no proof in nothing. People are gonna want to see real proof. Well, at least I do. But that's what I was doing, getting photos. Oh. I'm gonna whip up the reader's interest with some gossip and a little misleading. Back to my original theory that tabloids are scum. Then spice it up a little and have myself an exclusive story. Wow, what a nice journalistic integrity you got there. I already finished writing up my spicy article, you know. That's fact though, yeah. Tabloids are scum. But the paper I wrote it on, my note to myself, it's gone. Your note to yourself. It was inside the case of my $1,600 camera. You mean the one you got for $700? They done run off together. I came here for my big story, but I didn't come here to have my treasure disappear on me. Yeah, I understand. It's enough to make a gal go bonkers, I tell you. What's with people now anyway? I never thought I'd live to see the day when someone done stole something from me. You really want that note back, huh? Don't know why I did though. The story on that note is probably a bold-faced lie. Lotta's camera updated. I don't think we have anything new to present to her other than that tabloid article. Let's just talk to her about it. No, she don't care. We've already spoken to her about all of these people, but now let's speak to her again about the manager. No, okay, I thought she might have an updated opinion on her. Alright, on guard's hotel room. So she's got some secrets to lock as well. So what was this about? The motive for the murder. Let's just reread this. You know something, don't you, about why Mr. Corridor was murdered? Why are you asking me? Don't tell me you can see inside my heart. Kind of. I can see the locks you have on your psyche. If you don't remove her locks, yeah, it's worthless even to ask. It's a motive for murder. I don't know if we have anything that points to motive. The gossip rag isn't strong motive. Maybe because he was drinking tomato juice out of a wine glass. I can see some people might get ruffled by that, but they're weird. The missing guitar? Why would that be a motive for people to murder him? Kinda wouldn't. The ultimate crime, yes. It's like wine goes in a wine glass, damn it. Not tomato juice. What are you, a heathen? Crime scene photo. We know that knife would have been the dinner knife from this room, where Matt on guard was having dinner with her. And we know that she left to go check on him. That's when she discovered the murder and called the police. So at some point, that knife had to make its way out of Matt on guard's room over there, into Corridor's room across the hallway, stabbed him. During the struggle everything broke. We know that the guitar case was closed because it's not wet on the inside, and the vase that broke with the flowers. And then whoever it was probably poured themselves a glass of juice, left it there but didn't drink it. Almost like it's a sign of some kind. And we know somebody is specifically trying to frame Matt on guard for this, which means it was a premeditated murder. Someone has to have a motive for that. This wasn't a murder of passion. This was somebody literally trying to do him over. Let's talk to her about some of this, though. Did we actually talk to her about these? No, okay, I think we did. Let's see where this goes. Let's just see what the leading text is, and it might point us to the right thing. That's how I've been getting through some of these, is literally seeing what the first steps are. We can always back out. We don't have anything. Why was one corridor murdered? If you ask me, I think you know the reason he was killed. Why are you hiding things? Don't you realize you're putting Mr. Ongar's life in danger by your actions? Why do you ask questions for which I have no answers? The truth is, I was not that close to Mr. Corridor. Okay, yeah, so we do need to show that that's not the case. You were not that close. That's right. I've never been good at being intimate with another person. You're not good at being intimate with another person? Somehow I highly doubt that. We have a newspaper article. You and Mr. Corridor had an intimate relationship, did you not? A silly third-rate tabloid article. If you even had half your wits about you, you wouldn't believe such rubbish. Well, it seems quite a few people have already bought into the story. As to be expected in a world filled with crooks and liars. Note to self, stay on her good side. In any case, I despise interpersonal relationships like that. I see. However, what if there were a need for you to get close to someone? Me? Need to get close to Corridor? As if there was ever such a need. Didn't you get close to Mr. Corridor's Corridor for this person's sake? So this is going to be... The only person we know she has any other affiliationship with is Matt Ongard. No. Okay. Do you really still not understand? What? It's not in my nature to enjoy doing things for others. But you're a manager. It's called a job. I'm in charge of Mr. Ongard, star, not Matt Ongard, the man. Oh. And you're not my client. Is this my subtle hint to go home? But I know you must have had a need to get close to the victim. Me? Need to get close to Mr. Corridor as if there was such a need? Didn't you get close to the person for this person's sake? Well, she does it for herself then. No. Okay. Alright, let's just pull out. Or his sake. I might need more info, yeah. I'm gonna pull out, and we'll reload. Oh hell yeah, I save scum. I am not ashamed of that. We need more info, probably. We don't really know enough about her to know what kind of personal relationships she had with other people and why she would get close to him. See, I thought maybe she was getting close to Corridor for Matt Ongard's sake, in order to try to stifle the rivalry. It could be that she was getting close to him for Corridor's sake as well, for the same reason. Might be worth going back to Matt. Yeah, that was something I was thinking to do. I mean, we should also probably go to the... where is it as well? Criminal Affairs Department. Yes, we can't actually go from here yet. Let's go to the office. And the detention center, there we go. He's probably in questioning, I bet. Oh, no, here he is. Ah, the lawyer dude. So, what did you find out? Well, I'm still in the middle of investigating. I see. But I've already told you everything I know, dude. Freya, did you just ask me to come back here just so you could see him? I'm on to you. I see where you're going with this. What happened? Can you tell me about your activities last night? After I got the award, I took a break and went back to my room. I had that post-ceremony stage show to do too, so I was in my nickel samurai costume. And you were alone the entire time. My manager was running around being busy, so yeah, because the press conference you were supposed to hold after the show. I told you, dude, I have no idea that any press conference, alright? Which is strange. Sweats, I see you. That's strange, I thought the Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. Anyway, when I was leaving my room, that's when I noticed it was kind of scary noise, kind of noisy. Mr. Corridor was already dead at that time? Yeah, that's what I gather. Anyway, from my manager, I'm beginning to gather that this guy can't do a thing on his own. We've already had this conversation with him. That's when the detective in the green coat showed up, searched me, and then the dude arrested me because they found the button in his robe. About you and the victim, Mr. Juan Corridor, what sort of... That's got nothing to do with anything, dude. Man, with that face of his, you can't even tell he's the same age as me. And he wanted to try to make a jamming ninja movie, even though we all know it would fail. The Nickel Samurai still won in the end, right? Yeah, I took the Grand Prix by storm. So why would I, the winner, have any reason to kill the guy anyway? Dude, you think it'd be the other way around, you know? Again, he's got a good point. We already figured that out. Let's present some stuff to him, though. We've got some new facts for you. Okay, no, he doesn't know anything about the camera case. That's not something he's seen. What about the map? Murder scene, the guitar case. Tomato juice. Magazine clipping. Knew this one would get a reaction. What do you think about this article? If you're talking about her going that thing with Juan, I always thought she was a bit careless in the way she handled it. But he's confirming it. And that's it. That's it. Let's present people to him. We've already talked about Lotta and Juan and himself. I think Old Bag? Yeah, because he wants to know if she's part of the fan club. Oh, past them. That's my manager, did you meet her? Yeah. What do you think? Strong woman, right? Yeah. And she takes good care of me. Oh yeah, I bet. You're such a mama's boy. Alright, well that's it then. No, okay. Trust me, she's not the member of anybody's fan club. No talky talk with him. Okay, well there's nothing new here. You just wanted to see him again, didn't you, Freya? Oh my god, look, it's the Blue Badger. It's still there. Detective Gumshoe said they had an investigation briefing. Yeah. Oh, he's back. Hey, so you came back, pal. Why the blunt greeting? Because there's nothing to be friendly or happy about. What do you mean by that? Well, things look perfect this time around. The evidence and testimony are airtight. But we can't just roll over and die. We have to stay positive. What do you mean the evidence is airtight? Did you seal it up in little baggies? I can't give you all the details, pal, but there's two big pieces. Two? And both of them are in this photo. I'm just going to leave it on the table here and turn my back for 5 seconds. Oh, right, we already have this. The first is the button that's missing on the victim's chest. Right. That's the button that you found during your body search of Mr. Ungard. Yep. Found it in the fold of the Nickel Samurai's special pants. His special pants. Giggity giggity. And the second one is the knife in the chest, pal. The fingerprints on the knife of this chest have to be exact. Fingerprints? Whose are they? You didn't even have to ask, little missy. It's obvious. They're Matt Ungard's. Moral's trial. Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place. And the testimonies? Gonna be Oldbag, isn't it? What about this airtight testimony? That old security lady, Ms. Oldbag. I thought so. What do you mean you thought so? Did she tell you something, pal? Well, I even told her not to open that mouth of hers and blab to anyone. Her knob is stuck on 10 and there's no turning it down, trust me. Yeah, well, Ms. Oldbag saw it, pal. She saw Mr. Ongard come out of the victim's room and estimated time of death. Bloodrill! Hey, dude, thank you for the host. How's it going, my friend? Nice to see you. Welcome to everybody from Bloodrill's host. We are playing Ace Attorney. We're on the second game, Justice for All, the fourth case. We're trying to find out who killed a TV star. Thank you very much for doing that shout out. Go check out Vlodrill, by the way. Really good streamer. Always enjoy hanging out in his chat. Going well. Time to walk the dog as usual. Excellent. Good. I'm glad to see your routine still going well with everything happening. But dude, thank you for that host. Did you have a good stream? What were you playing? Oh, I see you there. Yeah, playing Baldur's Gate 2. Oh, nice. Good game. Hope you had a good one. You never played that? Excellent. I hope you're enjoying it. Some good old CRPGs there. Right, let's present some stuff to him. Or do we have anything new? We have this. Let's show this to him. We're pretty interested in this bit of gossip ourselves. The scandal with Mr. Corridor, but why? You're enjoying it indeed. You love isometric RPGs? Yeah, they are pretty good. I've tried to play some on this stream, but man, they're so big. You can burn out on them easily. Well, 2 years ago, a woman committed suicide. Suicide? Her name was Celeste Impax. And she was one corridor's manager. Victim's manager? That's not all, pal. Ms. Impax was Miss Adrian Andrews' mentor. He taught Miss Andrews everything she knew about the business from square one. Her mentor? A woman who was both Mr. Corridor's manager and Miss Andrews' mentor. Right, we know more now. She got into this. Wow. Theory time. Theory time. Okay, so she thinks that one corridor killed this woman and staged it like a suicide. Then she got close to him in order to investigate him. Maybe she found out he did it and she killed him in retaliation. Why she would be framing her client for it, who knows? But yeah. Alright. But either way, she probably got close to find out what happened to her mentor. But does suicide have something to do with this case? Do you want to know more about her, pal? Yes, I do. Okay, we did talk to him about these. It's going to turn out that she really liked tomato juice or something, and that whole leaving the glass there is meant to be like pouring one out for her. Oh, we don't have her listed in the people's list yet. Alright, well, let's talk to her. We'll probably get it after we have this conversation. She was the victim's manager, and she was also Ms. Adrian Andrews' mentor. It's been 2 years since her suicide, and now those two are linked again by another death. Or maybe it's just a coincidence, but Jesus, I heard it coming. I'm getting sick of dealing with one foolish idiot after another. Miss Von Karma, you can't seem to stop allaying yourselves with the enemy, can you? I don't need a traitor in my midst. You don't mean... I do. Scruffy, you have 30 minutes to get out of here. You are no longer needed. Goodbye. Whoa, did she just fire him? That's... Wait, please wait, sir. If I don't get this month's pay, I'll quiet. If it weren't for traitors like you, I would have won. That's what you wanted to say? Who? That voice, is this Mia? Edgeworth! Edgeworth! Dude! What's up? It's been a long time, right? Right. Right. He returns! Edgeworth's theme! This person. This is Mr. Edgeworth? It is Mr. Edgeworth. What am I going to do with you? Still blaming others when things go wrong? You haven't changed a bit, Franziska. You. That's right, you. How dare you show your face to me without a shred of shame upon it? You've soiled the Von Karma name, dragged it through the mud. You even ran away with your tail between your legs like the ill-bred dog you are. Are you talking about the Von Karma family creed, to be perfect in every way? Then let's hear it, Franziska. How are things going? I hear you're having a rough time maintaining perfection in this country. You! Edgy Edgeworth. Yeah. You seem to be getting crushed under the weight of it all. That's why I came back. Keep your assumptions to yourself. I haven't given in yet. I won't lose. This case is mine. I've never handed it over to you. Never. Mr. Phoenix Wright, I will see you tomorrow in court. It will be a clinical lesson on the meaning of total victory. Still the same wild mare she always was. Okay. What's up, Edgy? Tomorrow's trial. I thought you, the prosecutor, Miles Edgeworth, had gone and died. Mr. Nick, I never wanted to see you again. I think that's enough of a warm welcome for someone you haven't seen in a year. Are you going to run trial tomorrow? You heard, right? That wild mare hasn't given in yet, it seems. So, no, I don't think I'll be making an appearance. Damn. Your hatred for me is quite unhealthy, not to mention one-sided. But I will say one thing. You can't win on your own at the trial tomorrow. What's that supposed to mean? I have something definitive that you lack. And working together is the definition of teamwork. It's the power to find the truth. Truth? In order to understand this case, you have to understand a certain truth. Well, if you ever feel the need for my assistance, it is available to you. Edgeworth, are you feeling okay, dude? Wait, hang on, this isn't Edgeworth. This isn't him. He really did die. Someone else stole his identity, had plastic surgery, took all his clothes, and he's standing in front of us now. Who are you? I'm not in charge of this case, so I can be a bit more generous with information. So what is going on inside his head? Is he even plugged into the system anymore? He's been gone for a year. A lot of things may have happened, however, Manfred Von Karma was still my mentor, and a perfect win record is proof of a Von Karma. 1 year ago, you could not establish guilt in a few cases. Are those losses the reason you suddenly disappeared from the prosecutor's office? Did you leave because you had lost your perfect win record? To think your motivation for prosecuting trials was so selfish. It's been better for everyone if you'd never come back from the dead, Edgeworth. Damn, Phoenix, he's hurt. I mean, we know what, Edgeworth meant to him. Like, he was the reason that Edgeworth was the reason that Phoenix wanted to become a defense attorney after that whole thing in school with the lunch money. That it turns out that Larry Butts actually stole his lunch money, which was really cool, that then he paid him back in the end. That was really good. I see, then let me ask you something. Why do you stand in the courtroom? What's your reason? Justice for all. Well, with Franziska, she almost always says, I will defeat you this time, the instant she sees me. But the courtroom is not a personal battlefield for prosecutors and lawyers. I stand in the courtroom to defend my client, to save their lives. To save your client, you say? Those who think only of their own ego-driven goals, those kind of prosecutors are reprehensible to me. Even if you're a prodigy, or someone like you, Edgeworth, it looks like there's still a lot you have to learn. A lot I have to learn? Me? Well, that's enough for now. The time will come, the time when you will see, let me start this again. The time when you will see is coming soon enough. Correction, Edgeworth saving him in school is not why he became a lawyer, that's how he became friends with him, though. Phoenix heard the rumours about Edgeworth's forgery, so he became a lawyer to save him. Was that how it went? I may have forgotten. I mean, I know when he became a lawyer and he knew Edgeworth was a prosecutor, he decided that was how he was going to do things. But I do think that he still had his heart set on it since that day to become a defense attorney, right? I must have misunderstood it. But interesting. But I mean, that was how he became inspired at the very least. Right, let's talk to him about everything. Yo, Edgeworth, look at this, I got a badge. Oh yeah, he knows about that. No spoiler, but a later game mentions him in college, not law. Oh, really? So he changed his mind then? Interesting. Okay, well thank you for not giving specific spoilers though. I'll look forward to seeing that part of the story. Put a little more thought into what you show me, Phoenix, Wright. Still as stuck up as ever. Alright. What about this? You like my poster? No? No interest in that too. I had a ticket. Do you have a ticket? I got a golden ticket. This radio transceiver has a kidnapper on the other end. Oh, you don't care about that either. I didn't think you did. Lotta's camera case. Have you seen it? No? Okay. Alright. Guide map. Alright. Order. No? Guitar case. He doesn't like music. Marta juice? Yeah, I don't like it either. Magazine clipping. Wow. Alright. Oh, we already showed him the badge. He's like, don't care. We are looking into leads, but we can only look into a few key players with our limited resources. There's no reason for us to waste our energy investigating this person. Why don't you just tell it to me straight and say, I don't have any info. Alright. No. Ah! Too many backspaces. There is an interesting rumour about this man. You mean the one about Ms. Andrews getting close to him? But that's pretty common tabloid fare, isn't it? I don't take things at face value when there's no more to be found. Okay, good. While I was abroad, these deplorable types of actors became popular, I take it. What, like you could have stopped it if you didn't leave the country? Wow, you got a high opinion of yourself. Well, refreshing like a spring breeze is his motto. Refreshing? And what's so refreshing about a spring breeze? Sounds like the pollen is not treating him well this year. Yeah, how is that hay fever, by the way, Edgeworth? Are you doing okay? Oh my god. Yes, refreshing. Adrian Andrews. She holds a large secret within herself. A secret? You can't help but feel that this whole case revolves around her. Alright. And then Celeste. This woman is another key to solving the case. Did you really think so? She was Adrian Andrews' mentor a long time ago, but she was suddenly called away by a difficult show and became Juan Corrida's manager. And then a few months later, Celeste Impact died. Her death was ruled as suicide, right? Yes. There's still one riddle we've yet to solve. Riddle? Her suicide note. It went missing so no one could find it. A suicide note that just vanished. So how did anybody know it was a suicide note? I mean, I'm guessing somebody saw it first. Which could be a lie. There wasn't one. Alright. He has no interest in himself, apparently. The missing suicide note. Ms. Impax's death was most certainly a suicide, of that there is no mistake. However, we could not find her suicide note. That's when the police began to suspect someone had hidden it. The suicide note? How do you know Ms. Impax had even written such a note? There was no solid evidence, however, we did find traces of ink on her right index finger, which makes it the likelihood of a suicide note very high. Or someone forced her to write something. But who would hide such a thing? The police think it was Mr. Juan Corrida himself. The victim? Ooh. You see, you're thinking ahead there, Mario. He was the one who found her body. Does he always walk around with a piece of grass sticking out of his mouth? Which makes him the only person who had a chance to hide her suicide note. Mr. Corridor hid his own manager's suicide note, but why? It must have had something in it, some incriminating thing against him. As long as the note is missing, any speculation beyond this is meaningless. For now, I think you should look this over. This is the suicide report, part 1 anyway. Part 1. What about part 2? Can I have that too? Okay, we can't technically read it. Let's present it back to him and see if he wants to elaborate. I don't like to look through reports. I like suicide reports even less. Worst of all are the reports that have multiple parts like this one. It has 2 parts. 2 parts. What you just handed me is the first part of the report. Here's the second part. Oh, there we go. Why don't you just give me that at the same time? What? You know, if I have to give somebody something that's got multiple things, I don't give them part of them and say, here you go, and wait for them to come back to me and say, so about this. Oh yeah, here's the rest of it. What? Oh yeah. Don't know why they did this. Yeah, it's a really weird thing to do. What the heck? But just give me both. The attempter's name is Adrian Andrews. What? Miss Andrews? What did she do? She tried to kill herself? She doesn't seem like the kind of person to try to kill herself, though. You think she's a strong career woman? That's just what she wants you to think. Adrian Andrews, she has a certain secret she's always trying to hide. A secret? Maybe Gumshoe was initially going to give you part 1 before they decided on Franzi fire him. Maybe, yeah, they could have done it that way and then redone the game. Dependent nature, that's what she really likes, what she's really like on the inside. Miss Andrews is dependent. Talk about the exact opposite of what that woman is. Alright. So where's the other one? Alright, let's talk about that. What's this about Ms. Andrews having a dependent nature? Adrian Andrews' attempt at suicide was a few days after the death of Celeste in PAX. And why did Adrian Andrews think about committing suicide? Because she had apparently lost her will to live. Lost her will? But why would she... Her pillar of strength, her mentor, Celeste Impax, was gone forever. That's why. Why would that... Is this what they call following someone to the grave? This poor kid, she's getting an exposure to some really nasty stuff here. Phoenix, take her home, for fuck's sake. After her attempted suicide, Adrian Andrews started attending counselling sessions. This is dark, yeah, especially for Pearl to be hearing. Like, what? She's like 9 or something. Man. She's someone who needs a person in whom she can trust absolutely. Once she finds that person, she'll do anything she can to keep them near. Without such an anchor in her life, her crippling anxiety stifles her ability to live. I wonder if maybe Matt is that person to her. And that's the nature of her dependency on others? When Celeste Impact suddenly committed suicide, the world before her turned pitch dark. That's according to Adrian Andrews herself. Then that means her super confident attitude. It's all a facade. She's only copying a mentor's behaviour to hold herself together. Terrible. There we go, now we got that added. Wow. Damn! Some seriously grim shit right here. Well, let's present this to him. Is there a third part you want to give me now? Appearances can be deceiving. It's such a cliche saying, but it's cliche because it's true. Ms. Andrews, to think that behind the unwavering brave front, she's been hiding this weakness and fear. Alright. Well. Mario came on. Thank you very much for that new follow, by the way. It's good to have you here. Thanks for hanging out in the chat all day as well. It's been really cool of you. Hope you're enjoying the show. We're actually near 400 followers now. We are now 11 followers away, if I remember correctly. So do we want to maybe present some of this to her? She's not going to give a shit about any of this, is she? We got everything we needed out of her. We'll see her in court. Let's talk to Powers, though. I want to present some of this to Powers. He knows about that. What about the people? Oh, he hasn't come across her. Or he doesn't understand why we're asking about her, which is, you know, okay, whatever. Let's show him the reports anyway. No? Alright. Oh, too far. Alright. Talks. Hallway. Lotta. No, she doesn't know anything about these. And... No. Know anything about her either. And I feel so sorry for Gumshoe. Poor guy. I mean, didn't he... He got fired by Gant, didn't he? Then, of course, that was obviously overturned because we ended up throwing Gant in jail for that murder. Murder of Woodward. At the end of the first game. But, man, this time he might actually be fired. I feel so sad. It's so bad. I know, poor Gumshoe. We need to do a collection for him. Can we just get some donations of instant noodles and we'll just go and give him a care package? What about the people? Let's talk to her about these people. No, she doesn't know anything about them. Don't think Gant fired him, but he was off the case. It seemed to me like he was fired because he told him to clear out his desk. I think, or words to that effect. Only special interests allowed. Maybe that's what I was misreading it. It was something like don't come back or something, but that might have been just kicked out for a while. Suspended, perhaps. But he did tell him something along the lines of like, clear out your desk or leave your badge or whatever. You know, yeah, that was it. He said leave your ID card, you know, the swipe cards? It was like, leave your card, you won't be needing it anymore. Something like that. So I thought he was fired. But then, of course, he ended up back in the force because Gant was, you know, he probably didn't put through the paperwork, so Gumshoe snuck back in like, I still work here. Yeah, poor kid. Alright. Let's see if we can break her locks. Oh, Miss Andrews isn't here. Looks like she's talking with someone. That's Franziska von Karma. Oh god. Oh god. He saw me. What are you doing here? Well, you see, I'm his lawyer, so you've got some nerve following me around. Following you? That's you, Miss Von Karma. You're the one doing the following. Pearl, she was here first. You're always following after that detective with the little beard. Me? Following after Scruffy? Don't make me laugh. Let me show you something interesting, little girl. That's the beeping you could hear? She has a tracker on him? Are you freaking kidding me? Wow! Okay. Okay, now we really do have a very serious problem. You are absolutely batshit insane, girl. I was right? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I thought it seemed to me like he'd been fired. But what? So every time he hears this noise, it's because she's got a tracking thing that she's using to find out where he is. Wow, this is some Orwellian Big Brother bullshit right here. What's that? An electromagnetic receiver. I planted a tracking device on that detective, and with this, I know that fool's every move. Forgot the leave your ID line? Yeah, it was the leave your ID line. I thought it was something along those lines, like the whole turn in your badge and your gun kind of deal. I haven't experienced Rise from the Ashes in a long time. Yeah, that was such a cool case. God, I loved that case. I had a lot of fun. It was a long case. It took us nearly 3 streams to get through it. I stream 6 hours a day usually. I feel really sorry for Detective Gumshoe now. Now then, let's stop wasting time. Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Jesus. Think hard about what we just discussed, understood? Alright. What were those two talking about? Ms. Andrews, she seems a little dazed, doesn't she? I would be after talking with Von Karma. Damn. Gant is such a cool and intimidating guy. Just that glare. Oh yeah, he was very like... He's one of those people that would put you really off balance. I used to have a college lecturer that was like him, in a way. But a bit more on the goofy side. Like, you know, the whole like, he's very happy, blah, blah, blah. You know, that kind of... He would do a very serious stare like, Oh, yes, that's right. I remember now. Ha ha ha. And you're like, oh, God, what? You just, wow, the personality change. Yeah, that was it. The glare, then the clapping fit. It was great. There was a guy like that. Yes, swimming anymore? Have you been swimming lately? And where he called the judge Udgy. That was great. Alright, so, let's do a quick savey and then we'll see what we can do with her. Can we talk to her about new stuff? No. The motive for the murder, though. Oh. Take that! Let's see if we can get through these chains now. So we know the newspaper article gets us through the first little bit, but then we didn't know who she became close to Corridor for the sake of someone. That would have been for the sake of her mentor now, I guess. Maybe she's looking for the suicide note. Why was one Corridor murdered? If you ask me, I think you know the reason he was killed. Why are you hiding things? Don't you realize you're putting on guard's life in danger? I have no answers. Truth is, I was not that close to Corridor. You weren't that close? That's right. Blah, blah, blah. Somehow I highly doubt that. And boom. What of that? You had an intimate relationship. Blah, that's just a silly tabloid article. If you had half your wits about you, you wouldn't believe that rubbish. Seems quite a few people have already bought into the story. As to be expected in a world filled with crooks and liars. Note to self, say on our good side. I despise interpersonal relationships like that. I see, however, if there were a need to get close to someone, need to get close to Mr. Corridor as if there was such a need, didn't you get close to them for this person's sake? Celeste Impacts, your mentor. How do you know about Celeste? Here goes the first one. Ms. Impacts, she committed suicide, didn't she? But it looks like no one knows why. Right before her death, he was one Corridor's manager, so I believe you got close to Mr. Corridor so you could find out more about her suicide. You have a great imagination. You may have a future yet as a slimy muckraker for a putrid third-rate tabloid. Wow, that's the nicest thing anyone said about me today. Ms. Andrews? There was no mystery surrounding her death, none. It would be pointless for me to force myself into a relationship for nothing. That's really true. Was there really no mystery? Yes, there was. I don't believe you were completely at ease with the way her suicide was resolved. Oh. Her suicide note was hidden. Ms. Impact's suicide note was never found, was it? It looks like the police were under the suspicion that someone had hidden it. Like maybe the person who discovered her body, Mr. Corridor. One. And Miss Andrews, I believe you thought the same thing. That's why you became intimate with Mr. Corridor. I've sat by quietly and listened to your insulting ramblings long enough. It's true that Celeste was my mentor, however, allow me to say this again, it had nothing to do with me. I don't even know that her suicide note was never found. I'm a person who doesn't care about what goes on in the lives of others. That's the impression you like to give, however. I don't think that's who you really are. What? I have evidence that says otherwise. This is proof that Celeste Impax was someone very special to you. I'm guessing it's gonna be this. Her attempted suicide afterwards. Ms. Andrews, you nearly went through it. You nearly went through with it too, didn't you? Went through with what? Ending your life. Ms. Andrews, you look and act like a very strong woman who has it all together. You don't ask for anyone's help, relying only on yourself. Yes, I've been very independent since I can remember. However, that's all just a lie, a facade. I swear, dude, our government is full of shit. Yeah, their government. Go figure. All governments are full of shit. Well, pretty much all. Most of the time. Sometimes they're alright, but yeah. You've always searched out people on whom you can depend on. You were dependent on Ms. Impax, weren't you? Which is why, when she passed away, you lost everything you had. Stop. They keep pressing the fact that stores are being resupplied like normal. Well, I mean, they kind of are. The problem is, what is normal can't keep up with what is currently an abnormal rate of buying. My dad came back from the store and a lot was just gone. Green's gone. Yeah, but like I say, that's because they only have so many delivery trucks to get to the shops, you know. That's the problem. They can't just suddenly find a fleet of trucks out of nowhere. It would be nice if maybe they spurred the army on to say, look, get your logistics department out and start getting more deliveries from the food centres. You know, coordinate with the supermarkets. That would be good. But they haven't done that. It's because people are buying faster than the stores usually get stuff in. Yeah, whip the army out. That's it. The army will solve everything. But yeah, I mean, it's a shit situation at the moment. It'll change. People are stupid. Well, yeah, definitely. Although I must admit, I've never actually witnessed anyone doing any panic buying. Like, you know the pictures we see on Twitter and everything and Reddit of people with like stacked high trolleys pushing two of them around, and you just think, oh my god. I haven't actually seen that, but I might have done if I'd have gone on the day that the shit was hitting the fan. But I didn't, because I thought, well, that'll be done in a few days. The shops will be empty for a little bit. They'll start slowly trying to fill back up. It will start. I mean, when I went to go get a couple of extra supplies for tomorrow, because we're having a little get-together at my parents' house, but there's some things they don't have. So I said, well, I'll try and get some. And I managed to get them. And I went to the shop that I went to earlier this week, and even though they were still, you know, running low, they were at the very least, they had stuff in that they didn't have earlier in the week. It's slowly topping up, then it's getting depleted again, then it's topping up a bit more. It's going to take time to build and build and build on itself. You know, because trying to fill a whole shop, that takes more than the 2 lorries that they get every couple of days. Things will return to normal in a week or so. Even toilet paper is back. It could be. I mean, the thing is, the people who are panic buying now, they're going to stop doing that eventually because they're going to either run out of money, space to store stuff, or they just don't need to go for a month. And I bet you anything, you'll be able to leapfrog over the panic buying back into a situation where you can find stuff again that you normally find. James is going to see his fam tomorrow. I'm not planning on leaving the house anytime soon. James is your husband. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's better to, when you go out, take a few days not going out and monitor your symptoms if anything arises. And if nothing has arisen, you probably haven't caught anything. There are asymptomatic cases, of course, so that's not always true, but it's the best guide you can go by. Unless you want to dig a hole in the ground and hide in it for the next 6 months, which isn't advisable. Amusing to see local supermarkets clean out. Local shops are still full to the brim. That's true. A lot of small places aren't getting panic box. People are going to the big places because they're like, they'll have everything I need, and they're not checking the small shops. You know? But yeah, we'll see how it goes. You just got to be sensible and wait for things to slowly stack back in, you know, because they're not used to needing to replenish at this rate. So yeah. When Celeste passed away so suddenly like that, I died a death of my own, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop thinking about what had become of her note. You must have heard about the police report. The one that said the police suspected Mr. Corridor of hiding Ms. Impax's note. You heard about it and thought to recover it from him by getting close to him, right? I mean, why would he be keeping it? He probably, if it was something he didn't want anyone to see, he would have destroyed it, surely. You know, unless she, like, etched it on a stone tablet or something, like Moses. They really only have only the one shop in your village. Ooh, yeah, that's going to be rough then. I can imagine that's going to be difficult to get restocked on a regular basis. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I hope that doesn't become the case in the future. You know, you might have to make a very early trip to a city or something and go to one of their supermarkets and try to get there for opening time. You'll probably find plenty on the shelves those first few hours. Here at the moment, some of the supermarkets are making it so that 8 AM to 10 AM, only senior citizens can go in. You know, like old age pensioners and their carers are the only people they will let in. And also public service workers like the NHS, police, fire, ambulance drivers, that kind of thing, to do their shopping. Because they're on call all the time at the moment, especially hospital staff right now. So in those hours in the morning, they're only letting limited people in, letting them get their shopping done, which I applaud. It's a good strategy. That's quite nice to make sure vulnerable people are still getting what they need. They should do that there as well. They might do. I've not seen any other countries announcing that they're doing that. So you never know. Maybe they will do that. They're doing that there as well now, Luigi? Awesome. That's good. If that's the case, then everything changes. What do you mean? What topic did we start with this conversation on again? It was why was the victim killed? Exactly. Somehow, Ms. Andrews, it seems that you have become the one with a reason to want Mr. Corridor dead. Me? Ms. Impax was everything to you. And then she died, and you would do anything to find out why she killed herself. Even commit murder. Murder? There it goes, we got them all. Woot! We didn't have to present anything to unlock that final one. That was pretty good. Boom! It's true, I'm a woman who can only live in insecurity. I'm physically small and I don't really have a lot of self-confidence. I've pushed against all that though. I've tried to live strongly. I never wanted anyone to find out the truth. Miss Andrews? This one thing? It's the one thing I wanted to take with me to the grave. It was my secret, mine and mine alone. I'm sorry. You probably think I'm a worthless human being right now, don't you? I think you're a human being. That's it. Come on. Please, Miss Andrews, all I want to know is the truth. Turns out Adrian is hella gay. Oh, no. After Celeste passed away, I heard that someone had hidden her suicide note. And that someone was one Corridor. Celeste, without her I became scared of everything. Everyone seemed like they were out to get me. So you got close to Mr. Corridor to recover her suicide note, correct? It looks like that tabloid reported the truth after all. Ironic, isn't it? Well, like they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And if they purposely add fuel to the fire, they are keeping the celebrity world burning. But as for the suicide note, I didn't and wouldn't kill anyone for it. It just doesn't suit me, that's all. Well, that's enough for now. I still have work to do, so I understand. Oh, I have one small favour to ask. My attempted suicide, I'd like for you to keep it a secret. We might not be able to keep a promise like that. Miss Andrews, if people found out about my weakness, I would sooner choose to die than live. Alright, I understand we'll keep it a secret. Wow. Miss Andrews, I guess she's overthinking things. He probably never says anything without carefully thinking it through first. Thank you for your discretion. Mr. Nick, can I ask you something? What is it? Miss Andrews has been playing with that card in her hand since a little while back. I noticed this. Yeah, the one with the weird shell on it. I guess she has. Miss Andrews, what's that card you're holding? Huh? Oh, this. I don't quite know. It just suddenly appeared in my handbag. And you decided, I'll just play with this for a while. I do that all the time. When I find something mysterious that just turns up inside my own possessions, I go, well, I'm going to play with this. This is cool. What is it? Looks like a seashell. That's what it looks like, doesn't it? I honestly don't remember owning this card. I wonder where I picked it up from. Her not remembering something clearly sounds like it would be a rare occurrence. Well, I must be off. I leave Mr. On Guard to your capable hands. Well, I think we've gathered about all we can. What about Mystic Maya? Is she alright? Oh, Pearls. She looks so worn out by this. She hasn't slept at all and has been walking all over the place with me today. What's wrong, Mr. Nick? Let's go back to the office for a little while. You're really tired, okay? Oh no, I'm okay, really. I'm fine, I really am. You don't look fine to me. So, what now? Well, we did find one thing out for sure. Ms. Andrews has a motive. You mean Ms. Mpex's suicide note? That's right. She was also the one to discover the victim's body. Clever. The kidnapper. The killer. Ah, Mr. Nick, the transceiver. Hello? Wright & Co. law officers. Nick, you're not answering the phone here. Mr. Attorney, you're not answering a phone. Yes. Thank you, the killer. I agree. Maya. Where's Maya? As I promised, I have not gone within a few feet of her this whole time. Phew. Which is why I suppose she is absolutely famished. What? So I suggest you win a quick acquittal, my friend. At any cost, wouldn't you agree? Wait, Maya. Let me hear her. Very well. Ask my... Maya, is that you? Sis. Ask my sis. Okay, Maya. Damn it, you cut me off. Mystic Maya said ask my sis, didn't she? Sis? What does she mean by that? Phoenix, there are days when I want to reach through this monitor and slap you. Come on, Phoenix. You're a hopeless one. Sorry. Ah, oh god. Boob times! Mia! I have a message from Maya, so come, ask me anything you want about her. Oh my god, has she been talking to Maya through the spirit channeling? And then she's like, and then I'm gonna go to Pearl. She's now basically like a messenger owl from Harry Potter, but spirit form with boobs. Alright, so, talky talk. Maya's situation. How's Maya? She's safe for now. But Kidnapper is one to keep his word, it seems. I'm glad to hear she's safe, but Maya, how did you know? As soon as she was locked up, Maya called for me. I read the note she left, then I gathered as much information about her surroundings as I could. I didn't know you could use spirit channeling like that. That's pretty smart of her. The Kidnapper, what's he like? I don't know. Apparently Maya went to answer a phone call at the hotel and was drugged there. And? You didn't see the face of her attacker? Maya is locked up in a very dark place right now. I'll tell you everything I heard when I was with her. When you were with her? Unknown date, time, and location. I'm starving. I'd really go for some apple pie. I thought she was going to say a burger. I mean, at times like this, sweets are the only way to go. I have to stay positive. He promised he wasn't going to kill me. I'm not going to die. You've got plenty of wine. Have some wine. You know? Get drunk off your ass. What else are you going to do with your day? Sis, I wonder if you're with Nick right now. So, What's this? Feels like there are a lot of bottles here. And these, they feel like barrels? I'll pass. Too bad I'm really hungry and not really thirsty. I mean, just think of it as liquid grapes. That's what they are. You're eating grapes. There are small, all sorts of things piled up here. It's too dark to see. Grapes, yes. Oh, there's the card. Someone dropped a card here? Kind of looks like a business card. There's no name on it. Interesting. A picture of a seashell, I think. What a strange card. So how did that get from there into Adrian Andrews' bag? Or are there multiple cards? Is this a calling card from the killer? Why would he leave it there? Drat, it's locked. But this door lock seems easy enough to open. On TV, the hero always uses a plastic card or a stiff piece of cardboard. Then click, they magically open the door. I wonder if there's a card like that around here I could use. Ah, that's it! The seashell card. If I use this, maybe I can get that door open. This might be my key out of here. I had a feeling this card might be useful. Such a genius. Alright, now if you'll excuse me, Mr. Kidnapper. Click. I did it. Okay, now I'm getting the heck out of here. I shouldn't keep Nick waiting or worried. Interesting. So is she now at large? Is she free? Who knows? But you know what, guys? We should go for our first break because we are, well, nearly 50 minutes overdue. Okay, so let's get this game saved. Welcome back, Erikai. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way, that woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Yeah. We must get a complete acquittal today, I know. But I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed, well, let's get going. It's him. This is Wright. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney, the day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. No pressure, exactly. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? We'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest if you please. Wait! Gone. Damn. The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer Dude, who was that? No one. Nothing to do with you, forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? What? Yep. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Ongard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? Defense is ready, Your Honor. I thought there was nobody at the prosecutor stand. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Ms. Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Are you getting mad at me? I didn't kill her and hide her in a ditch. What the hell? I mean, I don't know. I don't know is what I meant to say. bailiff's here. Your Honor! Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. What is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? Nani? Shot? But who would want to kill her? She's so sweet. Yeah, what a nice present. It's like, wow, he bought me a bullet. How nice. Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present. Ms. Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors of the country at the moment. Not really, she isn't. I beat her twice. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Ms. Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Whew. Wait, who said that? Wait, you're... Oh god, you... I thought he'd show up. Aha! That's it. Can we get some rips in the chat, please, for Von Karma? I know she's not dead yet, but we can live in hope. The judge can't go on with the case. He's too distracted by Mia's dids. Yes. That's it. F some rips in the chat, if please, for Von Karma. Small Fs. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Ms. Franziska Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready. Naturally. Well, get out of the witness stand then. You're in the wrong place. You should be over there. There we go. That's better. Ms. Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and I'm familiar with the details. It's interesting her father was shot in the right shoulder by his father. Or by him, rather, when he threw the gun and it landed and went off. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Ungard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. We've missed that. By the time this case comes to an end, you two will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Or former Detective Gumshoe. I don't know. He might still be fired, he might not be. Witness, your name and occupation. My name is Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct for now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Damn. So he is still there until the end of the case. Prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Good to have you back, Edgeworth. Welcome back, son. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Dick Gumshoe. Sir, yes, sir. Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah. It would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Reach deep into yourself and show it to me. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the case of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. How weird that you would bring that up. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant were alone in their rooms, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. After the Hero of Heroes ceremony, hold it! Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 PM, it ended around 8 PM, and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. Deepest, hello, I see you there. How's you? And then that's when the victim's body was found, correct? which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, Detective. I'm good now, just got home. Yes. Awesome. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in the hotel room. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt Ongard's manager. She's a pretty lady, a real pretty lady, sir. Ah, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence. Down, boy. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Ongard. After visiting his room, she went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. Lewd judge, I know. I see, and that's when she found the victim's body. So weird that she was going to go and get somebody else from an entirely different studio that she has nothing to do with to bring him to this ceremony. After looking into the case of death, we believed he was definitely murdered. The cause of death wasn't that because of Mr. Corrida was stabbed in the chest. Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now a real pro's attention would be drawn here to this bandana. I kinda wondered about that. I didn't know if it was part of his costume though. Bandana. His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around the neck, sir. Ah, yes, I see. His banana-scented banana-scented bandana. Oh my god. Then what about the knife? It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murder on our hands here. So he was actually strangled, not stabbed. That casts doubt on the knife. Had to buy a bit of groceries for a friend. She's quarantined because she has a cold, but her doctor decided to let her stay home to be safe. Oh. 2 hours back and forth. Well, that's nice of you to have done that for your friend. Good for you. Yeah, I picked up some stuff for my parents today as well. And my elderly neighbour, she's quarantining herself for the next week and a half at least. So yeah, I said to her if she needs anything, she's got my number, text me. I'll leave it on the back doorstep, you know, because there's a gate between our two fences. I'm on the end of the row and she's the next house in. So I'd go through and just leave it there, knock on her window to let her know it's there and go inside and she can pick it all up. At first we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. Why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. Not only that, it was open. The jamming ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. We couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that too, but... The only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. They are only the victims, huh? I see. So much for my theory then. Yeah, shut up, Judge. So, there's water on the lid, but not inside, and it only bears Corrida's fingerprints. I think a home delivery of groceries will be better at this time than all the people going to the physical stores. Yeah, some of the supermarkets here, though, they're saying that all of their delivery slots for the next 2 weeks are booked. But they've also reduced the number of trucks originally. But now some of them are actually going to do more. They're saying, right, we're recruiting more home delivery drivers. So hopefully they'll get some more for people that need to stay in, because that would be a lot better for them. We found out later the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Corrida, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. But the guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. What if somebody took it back there intentionally to make us think that? That's right. So it's only really had nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that's enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana, and then the victim was dead. The killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was a reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well, Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir.